of homes that are for sale, and it's like they have all that junk in that picture. You want to make sure that it is decluttered.
Right. Even if you have to actually rent a storage unit.
Yes.
Because you have to realize that when you're selling your home, you're basically starting a business. You have to look at that home as a commodity. It's no longer your home. It's something that you want to try to entice someone else to purchase. So it's very hard though, Marcia, with the getting them to come out of that, to step away from it from a personal point of view, because she and I talked about the fact that sometimes we have to tell some sellers to maybe remove some family pictures. And talk to us about that, Marcia.
That is the most difficult thing. And I understand, because I had to sell my mom's home, and I was devastated when the real estate agent told me, you have to move all those pictures. I'm like, no, but that's our family. But you have to neutralize that property. It is no longer your property. You have to detach yourself from that, and you have to take those pictures down, and you have to be willing to. A lot of people don't like people coming into their home. You know, you are an owner of that property. We're trying to sell this property. If there is someone an agent who wants to show their client that property, you must leave that property for that hour or hour and a half. Because people are more comfortable if the owner is not inside that property. Because if they're there, they can't open drawers. They feel like I'm invading someone's territory. It is important that you leave that property during that.
Is it easier to sell a house as an agent, a vacant house, as opposed to a house that's still someone's still living in, Marcia?
It depends.
Okay.
I think it's good to have furniture in the property, but the furniture must be in decent condition. I recommend a lot of people, if it's a vacant property, have it staged. It's not cheap, but it's worth it because you can sell it much faster at the stage. And they have like new items, new furniture. It looks really pretty when it's staged.
Absolutely. Yes. And you know, it's so funny that you should say that, because staging, when I was doing real estate back in the 90s, it wasn't a big thing. I actually kind of picked up the idea by going to open houses of new construction. That's usually the only place where you would actually find staging, unless the home was still occupied. So the first house that I actually put on the market that belonged to my sister and her husband at the time, and we actually staged it, and it's sold within like 2 weeks. So it makes a big difference. Exactly.
It does. And it's hard for people to understand that. They say, oh, that's expensive, but it's worth it in the long run because you can sell it faster.
Exactly.
And you can sell it for a higher price most of the time.
We always have to remember, and especially us, that sometimes you have to spend money in order to make money. Now, with that being said, since I gave a shout out to all my people on my Facebook page, let me go ahead and do the same thing. Bear with me, Marcia, for those that are on our Facebook, Ferguson USA Hot Talk Radio FM. We have had so many people tune in and listen today. So a shout out to Miss Wenice McClendon and Deborah Costello. All right, Rhonda Jeanette, let's see, Cynthia Henry, Shanice Peebles, Curtis Preston, Thane Wright, and Alfonso Harrod. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Who is it? Those are your coworkers. Those are General Vader's coworkers. He's our sound engineer today. He is such a great person when it comes to getting us on track here at this radio. I mean, seriously, guys, we would not be able to do this without him. He's spoiling me. I come up here on Sundays and he's like, okay, you're pretty much ready to go. You just have to do this, and you're good to go. So again, Marcia, we thank you so much for coming up here to talk to us about real estate. Now, tell us a little bit about the company that you're with.
Okay, my company, Haywood Hoosman Realty, it is my broker. Actually is licensed in Missouri, Kansas, and Illinois. Started her business in Kansas City, Missouri about approximately 28 years ago. She has a lot of experience, a wealth of knowledge. She and her husband started the business out of her home when she moved from Kansas City to St. Louis, and her business grew so quickly she had to move out of her home-based business, and that's when they bought the brick and mortar in Ferguson. Her husband was the CEO of Vantage Credit Union, wonderful guy. Unfortunately, we lost him last July the 3rd. He had a fatal car accident, and we're still dealing with that as a company, but God is blessing this business. It's not my business. Andrell Hoosman is the broker, and God is blessing this business. I just say Hubert is looking down on this business, and he is blessing it. God is there. They're talking and making things happen. We are growing so rapidly. Actually, I am licensed in Missouri. I just got my Illinois license a couple weeks ago, so I'm licensed in Illinois as well. I also have a few designations. I'm an accredited buyer's rep. I'm working on my senior rep specialist designation. I have my short sale foreclosure certificate. I just believe that it's critical to increase my knowledge, because if I enhance my knowledge, then I can help my clients with their real estate needs as well.
Exactly. Now, talk to me about short sales. After the crash in 2008, 2009, short sales was something that we never, ever heard of before. Then all of a sudden it was like the biggest thing. Now I'm not really hearing too much. Has the market improved that much that we're not seeing that many short sales on the market?
That is correct.
Great.
There are still some there, but people jumped on those short sales very quickly because it's a good value for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying a property like maybe anywhere from a half to 30% less than what that true value was initially of that property. And the properties are in good conditions most of the time. They're not like the foreclosures where people will damage the property.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are still residing in those properties, and life just hit, the market hit. So they owed more on their property than the value of the property. But that's starting to change as well, because the value properties are.
Oh, great. Okay, so you definitely see an upswing in the real estate market.
Yes, I do.
So for anyone that would be interested, especially for young college kids, this might be your senior year, you're about ready to graduate, you're thinking about what it is that you want to do. Talk to me about a real estate career. Is that a good career for especially young women?
Yes, it's a great career. The young people, they are on top of social media. I think that it's a great opportunity for someone young, because we're never taught that you can be an entrepreneur. Right. You don't have to go and work for a company and be unhappy for years and years. You can do your own, become an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And you can just grow your business. I mean, there's no limit. There is no cap on what you can do with being an entrepreneur.
Can you ever see yourself going back to corporate?
Never. I make just to even think about it. My stomach just turns. There's no way I would ever do that.
Exactly. And you were with some big companies that you work with. Yes. But I tell people that all the time, Marsha, money does not make you happy. And you said something that was so profound, because I actually wrote it down when you were doing your introduction. We look at jobs as a security, but are they really?
They're not security. I would say maybe 50 years ago, they were secure. Because people would go and work for a company and they would retire from that company. That is no longer the case. And young people, they understand that.
Yes.
They're going to stay in a job from 3 to 5 years, and they're moving on.
Yes.
So why not start your own business?
Exactly.
And the sky is the limit.
Exactly.
There's no cap.
Do you think, because like you said, with our age group, our parents were more like, stay in school, go get a degree, and, get a job. We need to change that conversation with our kids. Is this something that you guys try to do it when you have your functions at your office, or is this something that you tend to do one-on-one when you're talking to people? Because we need to start changing this conversation that we're having with our young people.
Yes, and we have some young realtors coming to our office now.
Okay.
We sort of talk with them about that, and we want them to spread the word as well. But you're right. That's something that we really need to focus on, and we need to get that mindset out in the community.
Right.
This is not completely there yet, but we really need to work hard on it.
I agree with that. And again, this is one of the things that we want to do here at Ferguson Hot Talk Radio. We want to get out there and reach out to the community, reach out to the students and say, hey, you know what? A job is great, because it's a training ground for you starting your own business, because there's nothing better than having your own. So Marsha, believe it or not, we've got about 5 more minutes. Any last words that you'd like to share with our listening audience?
Well, I just wanted to kind of end up with some statistics on the housing market from March, and this came from the St. Louis Association of Realtors.
Okay.
They're saying that the listings are down considerably from 2017. That's because the sellers are not listing their properties on the market. So the inventory is very low.
Okay.
Also, the price, just to show you how the property values have increased, the median sales price rose 4% in March 2018 at $164,950 from March 2017 median of $158,000.
Wow.
Yes, I think that is that's critical. And also, the days on the market, a decrease of 19 days. Properties are staying on the market 19 days less than what they were in 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, back in 2015, I have another really good friend. Shout out to Miss Nell Watts with Keller Williams, Southwest, I believe she's with, Realty. And I was working as her assistant at the time. So she invited me to go to one of the St. Louis Realtors meetings. It was right after the Michael Brown incident in 2014. So this was 2015. And it was really interesting to sit in on, because what they were kind of discussing is how to bring back the market, because we had discovered that even reloads had fallen off. People were not trying to relocate to the St. Louis area. Has that changed now? Are you guys seeing an increase in the reloads coming back into the St. Louis area?
Yes, it is on the uptick.
Oh, good.
That is correct.
Okay.
And I know Neil.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Oh,
no. We had a deal going on together that fell through. That was really nobody's fault.
Okay.
She's a great realtor. She's a good person.
Nell actually finally brought her daughter in, Dina Watts. So now they're working as a team, the Watts team. So, again, we're not competitors. We're all in this together. There's enough business out here for everybody. So, as a matter of fact, I've already talked to Nell about having her and Dina come in and do a show about because they're doing something called Coffee and Credit, which I think is really great. So, this is a great time, guys. I'm telling you, for us to get involved, even if you have to keep your job because of insurance or whatever. Start small. Start doing it from home. I actually started off as an agent working part-time, just doing it when I got off work and on the weekends. And it got to the point, Marcia, where I ended up letting go of my full-time job and was doing that full-time and hit the $1 Million Club. I think it was my second year in the business. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, any last words for our audience before we let you go?
The only thing I can say to the audience is, first of all, make sure that your credit, that your FICO score is at least a 620.
Okay.
So that you can get a loan. But the higher the better, but minimum 620.
Okay.
Make sure you work on that. And life happens to everybody, but you just have to go back and just take care of that and make sure that things are good. First thing you need to do is get a lender, get pre-approved.
Right.
The second part of this process is to ensure that you get a good realtor.
Exactly.
Someone who's going to look out for you, someone who's going to have your best interest at heart.
Exactly.
That is very, very critical. And if you have an agent, if you have an exclusive buyer's contract with an agent and you're not satisfied with that agent for any reason, you can fire that agent. Just send them an email and say, this is not working out. We're not a good team. I need another realtor.
There you go.
It's okay for you to do that because this is all about the clients, not about the realtor.
There you go. Hashtag not us. That just lets you know we don't take that, okay? Great information from Marcia Clark from Haywood Hoosman Realty. Is that correct? Did I pronounce it correct that time?
Okay. Haywood Hoosman Realty.
All right, great. Yes. And again, I really thank you for coming by. Now, you mentioned something before I let you go about that credit score. I have heard, I'm not sure how true this is, that some of those subprime mortgages are finding their ways back into the system. Is that true?
I have not seen any of those. And since 2014, since I've been in this business, in my company, I was the top real estate agent as far as gross number of sales and number of transactions. So I've done a lot of business in my short term in this business, and I have not seen that.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Because to me, they kind of use that as a scapegoat to justify the whole crash in 2008, 2009. For more information about what really happened, I'd highly recommend that you guys go to Netflix and check out this documentary called The Big Short. It was amazing. It tells you exactly what happened because they were warned, but they were making so much money, they just ignored it. So, all right.